My name is Dr. Frederick Reeves. I am a doctor at the London Hospital. One day in 1884, I saw a picture in the window of a shop near the hospital. I stopped in front of the shop and looked at the picture. At first, I felt interested. Then I felt angry, then afraid. It was a horrible, ugly picture. There was a man in the picture, but he did not look like you and me. He did not look like a man. He looked like an elephant. I read the writing under the picture. It said, "Come in and see the elephant man, 2 pence." I opened the door and went in. There was a man in the shop. He was a dirty man in an old coat with a cigarette in his mouth.
What do you want?
I want to see the elephant man, please.
The shop is closing now. You can come back tomorrow.
No, I don't have time tomorrow. I can give you more than 2 pence.
Alright, sir. Give me 12 pence then. Here, the elephant man, sir.
Stand up, Merrick, he said.
Walk, Eric, walk. Yeah.
Merrick walked around the table.
Yeah.
I have seen enough. All right then, sir. Let's go. Do you want to sit, sir? Yes. Here's a chair, sir. Thank you. Do you want anything to drink? No. Well, I am Dr. Frederick Reeves from the London Hospital, and I think this Merrick is very interesting, and I would like to bring him to the hospital. Well, you can't, sir. You see, people are afraid of him. It is very hard to get him out of here. But you can try. So the next day, at 7 o'clock, I came to the shop. I knocked the door, but no one opened. I waited there for 14 minutes. After waiting for a few minutes, the shopkeeper came out,
Walk, Eric.
followed by Merrick. The shopkeeper said, "Here's Merrick, sir."
Here's the medic, sir.
I said, "Thank you." I brought Merrick to the London hospital. I said, "Stop, Merrick." I opened the door for him. Then I said, "Come in, Merrick." Merrick walked into the hospital slowly. After that, I closed the door. After arriving at the hospital, I brought Merrick for a rest. After Merrick sits down, I gave him my card. "Here's my card," I said, and he took my card.
Yeah.
The next day, when the nurse wanted to check on Merrick was gone. Since Merrick ran away, I never saw him for 2 years. Then suddenly, one day, the police came and brought Merrick to me. The police showed my card. I was so happy. I gave Merrick his stick. Then I thanked the police and brought Merrick into the hospital. After that, I brought Merrick to his room. He looked so tired, so I left him at his room so that he could rest. Then I wrote a letter to the Times, December 4th, 1886. A letter to the editor. Dear Sir, I am writing to you about a man in our hospital. He needs your help. His name is Joseph Merrick, and he is 27 years old. He is not ill, but he cannot go out of the hospital because he is very, very ugly. Nobody likes to look at him, and some people are afraid of him. We call him the Elephant Man. 2 years ago, Merrick lived in a shop near the London hospital. For 2 pence, people could see him and laugh at him. One day, Dr. Frederick Treves, a hospital doctor, saw Merrick, brought him to this hospital, and looked at him carefully. Dr. Treves could not help Merrick, but he gave him his card. Then the shopkeeper Silcock took Merrick to Belgium. A lot of people in Belgium wanted to see him, and so after a year, Merrick had £50. But then Silcock took Merrick's £50, left Merrick in Belgium, and went back to London. Merrick came back to London by himself. Everyone on the train and the ship looked at him and laughed at him. In London, the police put him in prison, but then they saw Dr. Treves's card and brought Merrick to the London hospital. This man has no money and he cannot work. His face and body are very, very ugly, so of course many people are afraid of him. But he is a very interesting man. He can read and write, and he thinks a lot. He is a good, quiet man. Sometimes he makes things with his hands and gives them to the nurses because they are kind to him. He remembers his mother and he has a picture of her. She was beautiful and kind, he says, but he never sees her now. She gave him to Silcock a long time ago. Can the readers of Times help us? This man is not ill, but he needs a home. We can give him a room at the hospital, but we need some money. Please write to me at the London Hospital. Yours faithfully, F.C. Cargom, chairman of the... Merrick showed his creation to the nurse. The nurse smiled at him. She was very proud of Merrick. She praised Merrick for his creation. There was a new nurse in the hospital. She brought some food for Merrick, and suddenly I ran to the room as fast as I could. I scolded the new nurse and fired her. She cried away. Merrick thanked me, and I looked at him sadly. In his one good hand, his left hand, he had the little picture of his mother. He looked at the picture for a minute. Then he cried. He said that he really misses his mother. Then I talked to Joseph Merrick. He said, Dr. Treves, you and the nurses are very kind, and I am very happy here. Thank you very much. But I know I can't stay here long, and I would like to live in a lighthouse after the hospital, please. A lighthouse or a home for blind people. I think those are the best places for me. I asked, What do you mean? Why? He said, lighthouses have sea all around them, don't they? He said. Nobody could look at me in a lighthouse, so I would be happy there, and blind people can see nothing, so they couldn't see me, could they? I said, but Joseph, this is your home. You live here now. You aren't going to leave the hospital. He said, not today perhaps, but soon. You are a kind man, Dr. Treves, but I can't stay here very long. I have no money. Then I said, Joseph, this is your home now. Don't you understand? You can stay here all your life. After talking for a few minutes, he laughed. and I smiled at him. I did not want Merrick to live by himself like a man in a lighthouse. He read his books and talked to me, but I wanted him to talk to more people, and I wanted him to talk to women. So sometimes I bring my women friends to have a chat with him. One day, a famous lady wanted to see Merrick. I told Merrick that he has a visitor. Then I brought him to the visitor. The visitor was the Queen of England. Merrick was surprised. I told the Queen all about Merrick, and I left them both.
Windsor Castle, 20th December 1888. Dear Joseph, here is a small birthday present for you. I think it looks like me, doesn't it? I do like visiting you very much, and I am going to come to the hospital again in the new year. Happy birthday, your friend, Alexandra.
Hospital, 23rd December 1888. My dear Queen, thank you very much for your wonderful and beautiful picture. It is the best thing in my room. This is the first birthday present I have. Perhaps I had a birthday celebration with my mother once, but I do not remember it. I have my mother's picture too, and she is beautiful like you. I hope to see you next year. With all my love, Joseph Merrick. Went out of the country. When he arrived, he wrote a letter to Dr. Treves. Dear Dr. Treves, I had a wonderful day again today. It was very warm, so I walked under the trees and sat by a stream. The water in the stream made a beautiful noise, like singing. Did you know that? I listened to it for 2 hours. Lots of birds came near me. One had a red body in front and a brown back. I gave it some bread and it sat on my hand. A lot of birds are my friends now. I watched the fish in the stream too. They were very exciting because they moved very fast. 1 minute they were there and the next minute I couldn't see them, but I waited quietly and they always came back. I put my hand in the water but I couldn't touch them. I met a big dog yesterday. It made a very loud noise but I was not afraid. I sat down quietly and looked at it, and it came and smelled my hand. I saw it again today and I gave it some bread. It likes me now. I am going to put some flowers from the country in this letter. There are hundreds of flowers here. Did you know that? I like the little blue ones best, but they are all beautiful. I have lots of them in my room. I give them water every morning. Little flowers are very thirsty, you know. I am very happy here, doctor, but I want to see you again soon too. With love from your friend, Joseph Merrick. In April 1890, I found him dead in bed. He was on his back in bed, so at first I thought he was asleep. I talked to him, but he did not move. Then I saw that the skin on his face was blue, so I knew he was dead. Everyone was so sad. After Merrick died, I told the chairman of the London hospital, and he wrote a letter to the Times. The Times, April 16th, 1890. Dear Sir, 3.5 years ago, I wrote to you about a man called Joseph Merrick. This man was called the Elephant Man because he was born with a very ugly body. Merrick was not ill, but he could not work and he had no money. The readers of the Times felt sorry for him and gave me a lot of money for Merrick. Because of this money, we could give Merrick a home in the London hospital. It was his first good home, and for 3.5 years he lived here happily. The doctors and nurses of the hospital helped him, and many important people visited him. He read many books, he went to the theater, and in the summer he stayed in the country for 6 weeks. Because of your readers' money, we could give him a happy life. Last night, Joseph Merrick died quietly in his bed. He was a man with a very ugly body, but he was a good, kind man and he had a lot of friends. We like to talk to him, and we are all very sorry because he is dead. A lot of people are going to remember him for a long time. There is some money left, so I am going to give it to the hospital. Thank you, sir, for your help. Yours faithfully, F.C. Carr Gom, Chairman of the London Hospital.